So, hello everybody. We are going to, sorry, I was just checking what numbers they were at the bottom there. So we're going to make kombucha now. So kombucha, as I would have said at the start, is fermented tea. All right. I actually don't really drink black tea, and it's based on black tea. But I'm going to make a kombucha with only black tea. Okay, just to demo this. I do like it, but I don't actually drink black tea as a norm. So I have a list of instructions here because I've done this as a workshop with a friend of mine, and we did I did kombucha, she did beeswax wraps, and another friend did seaweed, and introduced people to different ways of making things that you can make at home if you have the few bits and bobs that you need, and also introducing people to the idea of introducing things into their lives, like what beeswax wraps are about, what kombucha is about, tasting it and sampling it, and the same with seaweed. I'm a big user of seaweed, have done so for probably 14-15 years. From when I used to live out in Inishmore, I used to get middle seaweed, which is as fresh as the day is long, and the iodine in it is quite good for people. Now, not if you have a thyroid issue, which I don't, but I do have a propensity to normal to low blood pressure, and it's good for that. Anyway, so if anybody, I will put these instructions up, but if anybody has an email address and they want these instructions, because it's a whole page, and there's a couple of resources, so you can look these up if you go on to YouTube or if you how to in Google, you come up with beginner, loads of different ideas and stuff like that. So I have a few samples of people you can try. I just find over the years I've watched loads of different ones, and I've tried lots, and it's trial and error, and just being easy on yourself, lads, really, because if you're only learning to do this, you may not get it right the first time. I have made a lot of vinegar, but tomorrow what I'm going to show you is how to use that vinegar. So I've got my jar ready here. So the instructions I've got here, so I'm going to follow them, even though I usually fill this up a little bit more. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that bit. So I've got the elastic band here to mark when it's 1.5 litres, okay? So this is my glass jar. I'm going to use, I use brown sugar in mine. It's just a personal preference. You can use white sugar. You do not have to go out and particularly get brown sugar. You don't have to particularly go out of your way to get brown sugar if you don't have it, okay? So into our jar we are going to put, she says, looking at the instructions, 1/3 of a cup. So that's 1/4 and a little bit more. So really, like baking, I suppose, kombucha making, it's science. And it needs the right conditions, like your oven has to be at the right temperature. Kombucha needs the right conditions in order to ferment and do its thawing. So in this little pot that my dad brought me home from, I think it was Madagascar, many years ago, I keep my black tea bags. So into this we're going to put 4 black tea bags. Now this isn't Barry's tea or Lion's, you can use whatever you have. This is, I don't even remember the brand, so I just pulled the long stringy bits off it. So when it comes to teas, lads, I have a lot. You'll have that feeling I have. I actually really just don't know how many types of tea over there. But for making this, I will always use 1 black tea bag usually. So into that, I am going to pour on, this is water that was boiled. And then I'm going to use a plastic doobry to stir it. Now, as I would have said in the first video this morning, was do not use metal with the SCOBY. But I've just in the habit of using plastic or wood all the way through, and that way I won't ever accidentally touch the SCOBY with something metal. So I've just got in that habit. So glass or plastic or wood. So I'm just stirring it up there. So basically I'm making a sweetened tea. Okay. I don't know if I remember once I my uncle came to visit. Ooh, and I don't drink, as you know, I don't drink black tea in a mug with milk or sugar or anything. So, and I don't take sugar either. And I don't know, for whatever reason I didn't. I might have been actually in my brother's house, maybe that was it. Anyway, he came to visit and he asked for a cup of tea and he asked for sugar in it. Because I don't drink it, I put in brown sugar. I gave him the mug tea. And you know when somebody doesn't like something, but they just don't say it. So I don't know, he was there a while in and I said to him, "You don't like tea?" And he went, "No, I didn't want to tell you. I could taste the brown sugar in it." So this is filled up to there. So I'm going to top this up with cool water. Okay, so that kettle was just boiled a couple of minutes ago. There's a number of ways you can make this part of it as well. So this is the way that I do it. So my kombucha jars, these lads, I have a few of them usually on the go, sit behind my kettle in my kitchen. So it kind of keeps it in my mind, but it's also it works for me in my house, okay? So finding the place in your house is paramount. It's trial and error, unfortunately. But maybe you kind of go, oh yeah, that place will work for me. I just suggest don't have them too far out of sight because you will forget about them. So this is our water filter is just over here. So I'm just going to top this up to the 9. So what I'm going to do is leave that to steep and do its business. So it's a nice dark colour. I suppose if it's made obviously with white sugar, it'll be slightly lighter. I just like brown sugar, I suppose, isn't as highly processed. And it's kind of got a slightly caramelly flavour, I would think, brown sugar than using white sugar. It's just a preference. If you prefer a lighter colour or maybe a slightly lighter flavour, that's what you've got, then by all means use white sugar. So I'm just going to give it one more stir and just making sure that there's no gritty bits in the bottom. So what we've got to do now is we've got to leave this guy to cool down, because we wouldn't put in our SCOBY now or we'll kill him, cook him and kill him. And while I have a multitude of SCOBYs, I think this is a waste of rather nice sweetened tea. So yeah, we're going to leave this to cool down, and when this one is ready, we will put our SCOBY on. So I don't have, here's one I made earlier for this one. So usually when I do this, what I do is I make up my sweetened tea at night, and I leave it beside the kettle, and then in the morning what I do is I scoop out my tea bags, I put on my SCOBY, put on my piece of cloth, which I think this is a corner of, I don't know, a piece of linen or something, and put my rubber band around it so the air gets to it but no bugs get in it, and leave it then behind my kettle. And I find that works for me. So I find that habit works for me. And I suppose finding your habit is your thing. Maybe you make yours in the morning, and you know when it comes to dinner time, it's cool enough to put your SCOBY, whatever floats your boat. Don't overthink it, just try it. I'm all for trying. Okay, so hope that makes sense.